Hello friends, I'm Kayla and I have really aggressively specific tastes in books. At least I think I do. I made a video talking about things that I think I hate in books, and now we're exploring, do I actually hate that thing? So around 2 years ago, I put up that video that was things I hate in books. I talked about a wide variety of things, from just blanket historical fiction to books set on the ocean. I think Washington Black proved both of those theories wrong already, so I don't even need to do that. But some of the other things I listed include books about road trips. So what I want to do is I want to tell you maybe why I think I don't like road trips in books, some books with road trips that I haven't liked in the past, and then for the next couple weeks, whenever I have time in my TBR, I'm going to slide in some books about road trips that are on my TBR, and we're going to explore this thing. Last time, in episode 1, let's call it that, I discovered I do in fact hate books about famous people and the pursuit of fame. So I'm not going into this video hoping that I won't like these books. I hope that I prove myself wrong. I love being wrong. You know why? Because then I can be more right in the future. I love just getting a better understanding of what I like and don't like in books, because I have so many books to read. There are so many books in the world, and I don't want to waste my time reading books I might not like. Although technically this entire video is reading books I think I might not like, but it'll help me in the future. There are so many 2021 releases about road trips, and I just don't like, I'm not putting any of them on my TBR, but they do have some elements outside of the road trip thing that I'm interested in, and I want to hone in. So here's a stack of books about road trips and just travel, kind of in general, that I didn't like. I think we all know how much I detest On the Road, but like, did I dislike this because of the road trip element, or did I dislike it because of all the other things? I really dislike Let's Get Lost. I really didn't like Amy and Roger's Epic Detour. This is the quintessential road trip book, and I didn't like it. I was kindly sent Hello Girls because I was excited about these authors. I was excited about the plot, and I hated it. Paper Towns by John Green. Also, again, but better. Travel in general, like traveling abroad, going from city to city. That's maybe what I don't like. I'm thinking of ending things as well. I don't have very many thriller or mystery examples. Most of my dislike for road trips seems to exist in like YA contemporary. Everyone loves this so much, and I think there are some great merits, and I understand why people like it. So now that I didn't like it, I'm wondering, was it because it took place on the road a lot? With that said, I do have one book. I thought of one book that I own that is a contemporary road trip that I enjoyed, and that's The Haters by Jessie Andrews. And I don't know if this holds up. This is one of those books that I read so long ago that I'm like, if I reread it current day, would I still like it? And if the road trip part I didn't like what else was happening in here that made me love it? I have some other examples of books with road trips that I liked, but none of them are contemporary. We've got Blood Red Road, Station 11, Upright Women Wanted. There are so many other elements of this, and so much like world building and intrigue, that I think even if I'm not interested in the road trip portion, these books did a lot for me outside of that. So I've already established I don't mind travel if it's futuristic. I don't mind travel if it's in space. And it might just be because I find it boring, which I know on paper doesn't make a lot of sense, because travel in itself is interesting. Visiting different cities, exploring, like the pace of that is interesting. For me, it's not. My favorite things, I also made a video about my favorite things in books. I love cozy settings. I love familiar settings. I love isolated stories. I love insular stories. I love small town stories. So road trips are basically just the opposite of all of the things that I traditionally love and I seek out in books. I think there's also some tropes within road trip books that people enjoy. So the like stuck in a car with somebody you don't like and then you find out you have feelings for each other. Side note, I just thought of another book that I can't find, or maybe I don't own anymore, that I detest so much. So there's the trope of like being stuck in a car with somebody you don't know, or somebody that you have a past with and now you're stuck together and you like fall in love. And there's also the trope of like staying in a motel and there's only one bed. So none of those tropes really interest me, but I don't think that those exist in every road trip book, right? So what I've done is I've grabbed a couple books and I'm gonna see how many I can get to. We have This Adventure Ends by Emma Mills. We have I Wanna Be Where You Are by Christina Forrest. He Started It by Samantha Downing. Tonight the Streets Are Ours by Layla Sales. I also was thinking like, maybe I just hate cars. So I also thought maybe I would include The Passengers by John Mars. And we can figure out what's happening with my reading taste. These are the books that if I am to like a book about a road trip in a contemporary setting, which is what we're exploring, these are the ones I'm most likely to like. Because they either have another element that I enjoy, or almost all of them are from authors that I have loved in the past. And then from here, I can decide like, do I never want to pick up another road trip book? And then I can take certain ones off my TBR. Or I can continue to explore within this, I don't know, theme of book. And this isn't like the end all be all. If I don't like these books, I officially hate road trips. It's just a fun exploration. Come along for the ride. Today is day one of my reading. I'm very excited. I'm picking up this one first because I think I'll be able to get through it pretty quickly. And also this seems like the most quintessential road trip story that I have. Also randomly, I just got an email. Who was it from? Fierce Reads emailed me and said, not me directly, but like, I guess they have a newsletter, or it's for influencers. I'm not even really sure, but it says, exciting news, Fierce Reads is launching a monthly book club we're calling Read Fierce. And the first book is I Want to Be Where You Are by Christina Forrest, which is so weird. I don't actually remember what first intrigued me to read this. I think it was just one of those like 2019 books that sounded interesting to me. And I wonder if I picked it up specifically because I knew it was about a road trip and I wanted to give it a go. I think because Christina Forrest has some other books and I wanted to give her writing a try. She actually has a book coming out soon, or just came out, that's all about fame. So if you love the tropes that I tend to hate, Christina Forrest may be an author for you. Hopefully I love this one though. I know it's about a ballerina. It looks middle grade to me, but I'm pretty sure it's YA. This girl wants to go to a dance academy after high school, but her mom doesn't want her to even audition. And I think she does it without asking and has to go on a road trip with a boy who she doesn't get along with. So it's gonna be a hate to love thing maybe. And they travel to her audition. Filled with romance, hijinks, and more than a few broken rules. It's a testament to being brave and going the distance for what you want. Cute. Okay, I'm halfway through and this is definitely the tropiest of all trope books. So if you're looking for such a classic road trip story where there's a girl who's really uptight and like needs to branch out a little more, and a bad boy who's not really a bad boy, he's just misunderstood, and everything on the road trip goes wrong. I think it's about, you know, following your dreams and making your parents realize that you should follow your dreams. It's cute. It's not doing anything really for me. And I know just because like this happened last time when I read books about famous people and I didn't love any of them, people would say like, well then why'd you read them to begin with? Or you went into it thinking you weren't gonna like it and that's why you didn't like it. I have loved YA contemporary. Like, as a grown adult, there's things that YA contemporary has done for me that makes me absolutely love it. This one's not doing anything super outside the box and special, but it is a really solid YA contemporary for people who typically love traditional YA contemporary. So it's still valuable because I can recommend it. And while it's not solely 100% light and nice. Like, there are some things that she's going through. This definitely is a reprieve from what I typically read, especially this year in my life. I haven't read very many books that would fit into the happy category as opposed to the sad category or scary or intense category. But if you are looking for the things that we talked about that are typically in a road trip story, you get it all here. I finished the book and it's pretty much everything I expected. I am giving it 3 stars, not because it did anything wrong, but it still remains true that even if everything else is in its favor, I still don't aggressively enjoy the idea of like traveling to different places and like, where are we gonna stay overnight? Who are we gonna stay with? Meeting new people along the way and worrying about getting home by a certain time. That has remained something that like I just don't care about. But this book was good in every regard. Maybe it could have been a little more romance or more fluffy. I thought a lot of it was good. I definitely recommend it. The side characters were all amazing. The friends, the siblings, the side characters were probably the strongest part of this for me. I loved her ambition. I loved the journey Chloe went on with her mom. I loved the banter. The pacing was interesting, and finding out the history of this like ex-friendship. Something that I like is, and I talked about my things I like in books video, is second chance. It doesn't even have to be romance, friendship, whatever. And this did have that. It was a mixed bag. I thought it had a good message. It definitely didn't do anything wrong, and I would definitely check it out. Especially, why not, for Fierce Reads book club, because that's still going on, I think, by the time you see this. I think this is definitely a good place to start a classic YA road trip.
Country roads, take me home.
I was just thinking, what if the best way to enjoy a road trip book is during an actual road trip? Maybe that's the trick. So we're heading out for the weekend, and a book I'm bringing with me for the trip is This Adventure Ends by Emma Mills, which I am really nervous might not actually be about a road trip. I've been told it's about a road trip, but the synopsis says, Sloane isn't expecting to fall in love with a group of friends when she moves from New York to Florida, especially not a group of friends so intense, so layered with private tragedies and secret codes, so all-consuming. Yet that's exactly what happens, and it will lead her and her dad on a life-changing adventure. And then just like flipping through the first couple chapters, I just see a lot of mentions of school, so I don't know how much of this is actually on a road trip, or if it is on a road trip. But we're going to an island for the next couple days. Multiple islands.
The road trip is that
She's moving? Oh, she moves from New York to Florida. You think that's the road trip? Oh, interesting, Liam. So here's a little vlog of our road trip.
Their debit machine wasn't working.
Let's watch him pump gas.
It's going towards $100.
You can't pay for gas with this, Liam. Everyone's been making these TikToks lately of their gas station order, and it's made me very insecure about the fact that I don't have a gas station order. Like, there's not something that I always want or grab at a gas station. I don't find myself getting stuff from a gas station very often. Like, now I feel like I need to pick something. Okay, we're now in Merritt and everyone's napping while I drive. So I was actually thinking about downloading the audiobook. This is actually the first time I'm taking the Jeep. If you guys remember, I bought it a year ago now, and it was in a video, so I'll link it down below in case you want to watch it. And I purposely bought it so we could do all of these fun trips we were planning in the summer. A lot of things got postponed, and this is our first actual trip besides camping that we're going on. So this is the furthest I've taken the Jeep. It's the longest drive, and I'm really enjoying it. But I think I'll throw on the audiobook. Although I'm at a gas station downloading it on Scribd, it's definitely taking its time. We're on a ferry right now. It's very exciting to get to our island. We don't really have any plans for our vacation. Like, we're literally just gonna sit on a beach, sit in our Airbnb, just very far away from other humans. It's really moody out. I think it'll probably be moody the whole weekend. I didn't get to read much of the book, but so far I am liking it, but I'm literally 10 pages in. Oh my gosh, you guys. Look at this. Look how cute. I don't know why, and if you guys are still like staying in hotels when you travel, stop immediately. Look, there are books in the Airbnb. Lord of the Flies? Lord of the Flies again, just in case you didn't like the first one. This is what we woke up to today. That's a slug. We found a beach where there's only like 3 other people. Nobody to see. We're heading home now. I liked the book. I'll tell you about it when I get home. If the theory was I will enjoy a road trip book more if I myself am on a road trip whilst reading, I don't actually think I came to a conclusion. I didn't end up loving this book. But also, I don't even think we can call this a road trip book. Fuck. How dare you have the word adventure in the title and be put on every Goodreads Quest road trip book list and only have like a 10-page road trip. I'm just kidding. It's fine. It's just, there was a road trip in here. Our main character is off to find a painting that belongs to the mother of these twins that she met in her new town. I liked the friendship group, but I've read such good friendship groups where like all of the friendships are equally strong in and amongst the group, and I didn't really feel that with this. I also feel like there were kind of too many characters, too many side stories happening with each character that I didn't really get to know or care about anybody specifically. My actual conclusion is that I need to read more than just a blurb on the back of a book before picking it up, especially I think if we're talking about a YA contemporary, because then I would have also known that this has to do with the other thing that I know I don't like, which is fame, because there's like fan fiction as a big plot of this, and also the artist painter woman is like a famous painter artist woman. So I can't say this is my least favorite Emma Mills, because my least favorite Emma Mills is the one that directly has to do with fame in a small town. This is my second least favorite. Her other two are definitely great. I think I gave them both 5 stars, although one of them has to do with like acting, and you could say like that has to do with fame. This video isn't about fame, it's about the road trip. She's tracking down this painting and it was fine. I think I'd give it 3 stars. A recommendation for sure for people who already like love most YA contemporary they pick up.
Shut up and drive. Shut up and drive.
So today I'm photographing bookmarks. I talk about it all the time because why the heck not? I don't think there's gonna be any bookmarks in here with like a vehicle, because I was thinking of taking an Instagram picture with like a bookmark that matched, but there's definitely no charms like a car or a truck. That'd be weird. I bet my mom had, oh, that's a boat. I bet she has some in her collection. The thing about our Etsy shop is you can always message us, because it's actually super easy. If you love a bookmark and you just want like the charm changed, like if I wanted a car on here, you can just message us on Etsy, and it's super easy to just pull this off and replace it with something you like more. I haven't started this book yet, but maybe I'll post this. A little boat. I don't think any of the books I'm reading have to do with boat trips. But who knows what'll happen in here. So I'm just gonna take all of these pictures, put them up for you to shop, and then I will get to actually reading. Let me show you my favorites. I always have favorites. Look at this stone. Oh my gosh. That one's so cool. I know a lot of people like these like raw ones. I love the gold. This doesn't happen super often. Oh my god, that's a little bee. I love this one. That's my favorite. Okay, I started reading my third book. I wasn't going to update you until later in the day when I was all ready and I was filming, because it's the weekend and it's a filming day. But I have to tell you about this book because I'm very excited about it. I started reading it the second I woke up, which is not normal for me. I normally read in the afternoon, mostly the evening. I don't just wake up and feel compelled to read, but that is what happened to me today. And I'm so glad I did, because this just... Okay, first, let me tell you what this book is. All I know going in, I'm 100 pages in now, but going in, I knew that it was an inheritance book. So there's a group of siblings and they have to go on this road trip. I don't know why. And once they're done, they will get this inheritance from their grandfather. And all the siblings have issues with each other. And I figured secrets are going to be revealed, which is probably still going to happen. But we just had like a plot twist. And it's one of my like top 3 favorite thriller plot twists that rarely happen. And every time they do, every time this plot twist happens, I'm obsessed with it. I'm gonna have to do a 3 thriller video. What was that? 3 thriller video. And I'm gonna have to spoil this entire thing because I love it. And now I just want to read, and I might not even film today. I might just read all day long. I've rated a ton of things 5 stars recently, but not a thriller. And oh my god, I forgot I was reading this for a road trip. I was like, I'm vlogging. What am I vlogging for? What vlog is this? I definitely am not bothered by the road trip or uninterested, so that's promising. There's no way I'm gonna read a road trip story 5 stars. I'm literally a quarter of the way in, so I really can't say that. But I'm having a good time. I'm now 3/4 of the way through. No, I haven't done anything useful today. I still look like this. And this book is going places. It's doing things. I really shouldn't be surprised by what's happening right now because I read My Lovely Wife and that was like a lot, but I am a little surprised at what just happened. And that's all I want. I always talk about in a thriller I need 2 things: entertain me, surprise me. This is crushing it. I finished the book. I've done nothing today. Nothing, absolutely nothing. I took 1 Bookstagram picture. In this, well, with this shirt/dress. Actually thought it was kind of cute. Here, look at it. Or look at it right in front of you. I ordered this from Shein. I've heard so many things about it over the years. And I assumed that everything was going to be like smaller than normal. I actually ordered my normal size thinking it would be tight enough that I could wear it as more of a tunic than a dress, because the website made it look like it could be more tunic-y. But actually, is it not only not tight, it not only doesn't fit great, it's a little loose. See? Maybe this is the style it's supposed to be, but like, I'm in here. I do think it looks cute. I wish I looked on par with it. But I have a bit of a fever, so that's no good. Anyway, I was supposed to be telling you about a book. My thoughts on He Started It are confusing, and I kind of wish this had been a book club pick, or we were all buddy reading it in some capacity, because I would like to discuss this with others. Actually, my rating is pretty solid. Like, I definitely know that my rating is a 4, but I still have so many complex thoughts about especially how this book ended. I actually think a lot of people will absolutely hate the ending. I loved it, but I have questions and I am a little lost. Definitely fast-paced and interesting for me. I clearly can enjoy road trip storylines if they're in thrillers. Just like if it's fantastical or futuristic, I can enjoy a road trip. And also now I know if it's a thriller, I can enjoy a road trip. We still have yet to figure out if I can love a YA contemporary with a road trip. I know people are gonna be like, you just don't like YA contemporary, but I do. So we're gonna do one final one tomorrow. Stay tuned.
You get a fast car. I want a ticket to anywhere. Maybe we make a deal.
Today we're back to YA, and I'm gonna give Tonight the Streets Are Ours a go. Also gonna take a picture. I wanted to find some sweet legs with like cars on it or something, and I don't have any. There are some. There's one with like passport stamps. It would be cute, but I don't own them. Just dropped my book on the floor. But these ones are meant to be like a topographical map or whatever, and it matches the color. So that's what I'm gonna do with my Linty avocado socks. And then in Photoshop I'll match the color. Just like this. Good morning. Actually, it's not the morning. I don't know why I just said that. It's literally 4 p.m. I just finished doing a live show with Chanel and Starla for Home Before Dark for the Literally Dead book club, which was fun. And now I'm finally getting into reading this, which I don't actually think I've read the full plot of, so maybe we'll just read it together. I hope it's actually a road trip story. Okay, so we're following a character named Arden Huntley. Caring for her loved ones is what gives Arden purpose in her life and makes her feel like she matters. Lately, she's grown resentful of everyone, including her needy best friend and her absent mom, taking her loyalty for granted. So I just picked this up because I've read Layla Sales before and really didn't expect to love the one that I read as much as I did. It was kind of just like one of those books you pick up randomly. I can't even remember what it's called. Yes, I can. This Song Will Save Your Life. But this seems like it also has one of my favorite, like, not favorite tropes, but like something I enjoy in YA a lot is like a tense or toxic mother-daughter relationship. I can't explain why. I just think it's interesting to read the development of that relationship. Then Arden stumbles upon a website called Tonight the Streets Are Ours, the musings of a young New York City writer named Peter, who gives voice to feelings that Arden has never known how to express. That sounds cute. He seems to get her in a way that no one else does, and he hasn't even met her. Until Arden sets out on a road trip to find him. Oh no, she's gonna be disappointed. During one crazy night in New York City. Okay, so I'm getting like Nick and Nora's Infinite Playlist vibes, and then like Radio Silence vibes for some reason. Like the idea of an anonymous internet person creating content that you really connect with. Parties, dancing, and music, the type of night where anything can happen, and nearly everything does. Arden discovers that Peter isn't exactly who she thought he was. I knew that already. And maybe she isn't exactly who she thought she was either. So self-discovery, I wonder what it's gonna be. Like, what about him? Is he a complete catfish, or is it just like he has this online persona he can't live up to? And are we gonna get to read these musings? Okay, we do. Interesting, because like sometimes I like blog posts and poetry and books inside books, and sometimes I don't, just because sometimes it can come off cheesy. But on the cover they're holding hands and walking into the sunset. So I just realized talking about vehicles and road trips, my Jeep doesn't have insurance, so I need to go renew it. But I also got a package. Huh? Okay, thank you, Simon & Schuster, for... Are these not ARCs? What's happening? Okay, this is a... I got 2 copies of One by One by Ruth Ware. I think the Canadian publisher and the US publisher sent me copies. That means I have giveaway copies. Whoop, whoop. I also have packages I'm sending out today. What else? I'm wearing a different outfit because, of course, I couldn't wear a white shirt for more than like 10 minutes without spilling something on myself. Oh, there's been no road trip happening in the book yet. I'm 100 pages in. We're not driving anywhere. But I am liking the book. So that's my update. I'm also very tired. I have like a week to fix my sleep schedule before I go back to full-time work, which means waking up at 5:30 every morning, and I'm trying to slowly get myself used to that, but now I'm exhausted. And this is my husband putting on the new insurance sticker. I couldn't see him, and then I realized I could just turn on my backup cam and look at him. Is he having issues? Or he's trying to really stick it on? Okay, we had to swing by Value Village, and I found some good books. I also found that Chip Cheek book. I resisted buying it. And then she only charged me $1 a book. So look what I found. Such a fun age. I finally found The Other People. I only have the ARC copy. I've always been intrigued by this book. It's called The Lost Ones. Oh, and then I just showed you a book for a future childhood favorites that I didn't mean to do. Whoops. Okay, I thought I could stay up later than this, but I can't. I'm very tired. I'm almost 200 pages in. We're just at part 2, and I think this is the beginning of the road trip. So before the road trip begins, this is a 3.5-star YA contemporary, which is pretty normal for me. Will the road trip keep that the same, make it better, or ruin it? Who knows? But I'll find out in the morning. I'm gonna wake up and read this as soon as I awaken, because I'm actually really interested in it and I want to know what happens. So Tonight the Streets Are Ours is less poetry, more journal entries, but the book is more about Arden and her current relationship. She starts the book off with a boyfriend, and it's an interesting look at how comfortable you can get in a relationship, how sometimes the idea of a person or a relationship is better than the reality of that relationship. I have some theories about the guy in the blog posts, but we'll see what happens with that. I'm concerned because she seems to now be going on this road trip to chase after this boy, but he doesn't know she exists. So there is kind of a weird tie to fame in this book. The idea that you put art out there into the world, and because of that, groups of people and people feel like they know you and feel connected to you. And her traveling to New York to meet this boy, I'm just concerned because, like, he doesn't know you. Like, what's your game plan? Okay, I woke up bright and early trying to fix my sleep schedule, and I finished this. I think I'm giving it 3 stars. So it's a little generic, starring a teenage girl who's really on a specific path in life, and this event, in this case trip or person or whatever, changes her outlook in her life, I guess. So honestly, if this video teaches me nothing about my enjoyment about road trips, I think what it's taught me is the type of YA that I'm over, which is why I hate having to rate these books and going on like Goodreads and reading these books, because if I was 16 I would have a different opinion, I'm sure. And the thing is, like, that's the target demographic of these books. You know what I will say about this is this is one of the only epilogues that I've ever thoroughly enjoyed and wanted, because the thing to do with this guy's blog, there's like an outcome of it that I did want, but it's like years down the road, and I really did appreciate the epilogue. Usually I hate an epilogue, but I thought this book was good in a lot of regard. Like, there was a friendship that was messy, but the friendship didn't end in the book. There are certain I don't want to call them tropes, but there are certain things that a lot of YA books do that I read over and over again and I get tired of. One of them is like the idea that the main character drops all of their friends halfway through the book and then suddenly has this brand new friendship group, and that's what makes them like change their whole life trajectory. Another thing that there's nothing wrong with, but I'm tired of reading when, like, we have a main character who's got a boyfriend, and then there's another like boy in the book, for example, and the whole book is like kind of deciding between these two boys, but then at the end she ends up with neither of the two boys, and she breaks up with her boyfriend, and there's this whole passage about like, I didn't break up with my boyfriend for this boy, so that makes me a good protagonist, but I'm not with either of them because I love myself, which there is nothing wrong with. Like, that's a positive message, you know, to focus on yourself and to never break up with someone for someone else. But it like keeps happening, and I think it's in direct response to so many YA books, say like 7 years ago, being directly about that girl cheating and people being sick of that trope, but now it has birthed this other trope. And there's something to be said for both storylines, and both storylines have their place, but it's just like trends in publishing, and then if you read too much of anything you get tired of it. As far as the actual road trip goes, I don't think it ruined the book for me. I don't think it added anything to the book for me. So I'm left in like a weird place. So having read 3 YA contemporary / romance books involving road trips, I read 3 of them. I gave them all 3 stars and I learned nothing. I don't know that I'll be picking up any more YA about road trips unless there's something else in the plot that sounds really intriguing and interesting and different. That's kind of a bummer just because, like I've said before, I would actually rather hate a book than feel mediocre about a book, because then at least I have something to say, something to share, something that will help you if you're trying to decide what books to read. Like if you love everything I hate or you hate everything I love, when I have an extreme opinion about something, it's useful. When I have an in-between opinion about everything, I don't feel like anyone in this situation has gained anything.
I am the passenger, and I ride.
Somebody posted a thread on Twitter the other day. There was something about reading books while stoned, and all the comments were like, I can't do that. I've never completed a book, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, you know, that's something I've never done before, is try to read a book incapacitated in that way. Granted, before quarantine began, I did not partake. In fact, like the week quarantine began, I made a video, and in that video I discussed why I think being an Aries is related to not enjoying the feeling of being out of control. And then a couple days in, I was like, no. Edibles are now a bi-monthly event. I figured if you can drink on camera, you should be able to do drugs on camera. Maybe this is going to be demonetized. What are you going to do? And contrary to comments I've gotten on videos for literally the 15 years I've been on the internet, I've never been on camera high before. I don't know if I just come across that way. It often happens when I'm being especially chaotic, but I've never vlogged in this manner, and I've never read in this manner. So what a treat. That's what I figured I would try to do this evening. Maybe I'll get 5 pages in and not be able to continue. This isn't a road trip book, but it is a car related book, and I don't know how much driving or traveling is really involved in here, but I figured John Mars could be, you know, my first experience trying to read, or I also downloaded the audiobook to listen to. We're just gonna see how this goes, and I'm gonna check in with you every half hour and I'll let you know how I'm doing. Should I like pop in like it's a TikTok? 5 minutes on edibles. I'm realizing this is actually kind of about celebrity stuff too, which I didn't realize, because one of the characters is a retired TV personality, and it revolves around these characters being on a reality TV show where their cars start to drive themselves. So, half hour on edibles. The narrator, one of the narrators, it's like a full cast audiobook. One of the narrators sounds just like the woman who narrates Caillou.
Sophia watched as coordinates appeared on the center console and calculated the route her vehicle was to take from her.
Caillou was so happy to be in the park on such a beautiful day.
Okay, I was wrong. 1 hour in. I'm struggling to focus. I feel like I've been listening to this for hours, but I'm only 47 pages in. I always think it's always? No, I've only read 1 John Mars, but something that I'm enjoying in here that I also enjoyed in the 1 is that he like gives you hints towards things, and I think on purpose, like to let you feel like you're smart, but then by distracting you by that thing, he can pull off another twist. So like there are a couple different characters being mentioned, and I think that they're gonna be related, not like literally related, but their stories are related. And based on what he did in the one is, I'm sure that that will be revealed. So I get to feel the reward of being right, but then something else that I didn't see coming will happen. That's my prediction. I've made it to page 75, and I'm starting to not know whose chapter I'm in, like halfway through the chapter, even though the voice actors are all different. So that is the clue that I'm not gonna like what's the word, retain the information. I'm eating pizza, I'm in a blanket, and I'm crying over watching Hamilton. So,
But not even the sad part.
don't be mean to me. So I'm not reading anymore. So that was a choice. Suffice to say, won't be attempting to read nor vlog in that way again. I am now continuing into The Passengers. I'm about 3/4 of the way through this, and it's definitely interesting. It's action-packed. It all takes place in cars, and they are all traveling. Though unfortunately, their destination is also the location of their demise. Sad. As much as this is a reality show and their social media voting and stuff, it definitely feels more of a game thriller than a fame thriller. So I know I keep accidentally picking up books that obviously have something additional that I don't like, and I want to acknowledge that so much, and I probably already have so much, but I don't want to be called out for it because that's my bad. But I am enjoying the game anticipation of it, because you're basically voting people who you want to die and voting people that you want to live, and every single person has different secrets, and like basically you get a chance to tell your case, talk about why people should save you, but if you're not completely honest, you will be found out. I will say you should 100% read the one before The Passengers, because they are linked. And it's interesting because the last section that we're in is not really what I expected. We're kind of going down an extra route after the events in the cars, and I don't know that I care so much about it. So I just finished The Passengers, and I gave it 3 stars. And you might think, this doesn't really fit the theme, so why bother reading it? But you know what? I think this actually accomplished a lot. This is so thematically similar to the one, which I gave 5 stars. The writing is identical. The idea, the multiple perspectives, all the characters, the sci-fi element, they're the same. And everybody loves or hates both. So the fact that I gave this 3 stars, I think tells us that I just hate cars. I'm just saying, Christine has always been one of my least favorite Stephen Kings. So maybe I just don't like cars. I thought this was fine. I definitely didn't like feel like the characters or the reveals or the cliffhangers were as exciting as the one. I didn't feel as like on edge or shocked or invested. The concept is still super interesting, especially if you like Black Mirror. I would highly recommend John Mars, and this actually made me super excited to read the next John Mars that I have. So to wrap this up, 3 stars, 3 stars, 3 stars, 3 stars, 4 stars. Have we really learned anything? Do we ever really learn anything in these experiments? I can like road trips if it's in a thriller, and I especially think that I can like road trips if it's a scavenger hunt or a game. I'm not writing off road trips altogether. However, as you can see behind me is a whole stack of books because I have taken all of my YA contemporaries and thoroughly read through the synopsis to know if they're actually road trip stories, because sometimes books surprise me. I found a couple that are questionable, like they might be about road trips, but they're a little too vague. But I know for certain that these two, The Disenchantments and Open Road Summer, are both road trip stories and fame related stories. So I can comfortably unhaul them. Even though they're really pretty and summery, there's something appealing about them. I've read from these authors before. You may be thinking, oh no, read those first before you make the definitive judgment about road trips. But I really just think that when it comes to YA contemporary and road trips, there has to be something more. And I'm wondering if there are any YA thriller road trip stories or scavenger hunt stories that you think I might like. And please let me know if you just happen to know that something that I own is a road trip story but you think that I think it's not. Let me know. It remains true that finding different hotels, cars breaking down, traveling to different places, figuring out where to stay, keeping secrets from your parents that you're out of town, that you're with this person you shouldn't be with, that whole idea isn't something that appeals to me. And if that is something that appeals to you, then this video was full of recommendations. One other thing I would love for you to give me down below is which experiment you'd like to see next. I listed a whole bunch of things that I thought that I hated. Some of them I've proven wrong. These two video concepts I've kind of proven right. Although I can't say I hate it because you can't rate something 3 stars and then say you hate it. But the next two that I'm thinking about are either the detective POV or the hidden identity trope. Those are two things that I've traditionally not enjoyed. But if you have any specific recommendations that you think, if I were to love either of those two things, this is the book that it would be, recommendations would be much appreciated. So next year, I can do this part 3 of this experiment. Also, in the last couple months, I have discovered more things I hate in books, so I definitely need to do an updated version of that video. Thank you so much for watching. I know this video was freaking long for no reason, and I'll see you later. Bye!